Ride this wave all the way into the beach, taking it on home.
Congratulations, Tanner Hendrickson. All right, going into the final. So we're going to be watching the next heat, which is where we're going to be watching
Leigh Sedley from Australia and Carlos Munoz from Costa Rica. Leigh Sedley's going to be in white, Carlos Munoz in red, and it's going to be a good one. These guys have both been two of the standout surfers in this competition up to the point. One of them is going to go on to the final, going to meet Tanner Hendrickson, setting us up for a real good display of high-performance surfing here at the Quiksilver Surf Open Acapulco 2012.
That's right, Gary. Well, I'm really happy to be here again once again with you here in the booth. It's an honor to be invited here, and it's the last day of the contest. So many activities have happened these last couple days. We've had a great weather here in La Playa del Princess, and as we see White getting his first wave, really long floater, cutting back, hitting the foam right there, and getting a quick start as we see the replay.
Leigh Sedley from Australia, big polymer surfer, floating that section, but just going forever, following up with a big roundhouse cutback. That's pretty technical surfing there from Leigh Sedley, our surfer from Australia, drawing first blood.
As Carlitos Muñoz from Costa Rica. Pura vida, Mae. Saludos a toda la gente de Costa Rica. Ayer tuvimos un gran concierto por parte de Debbie Nova de Costa Rica también, así que nos compartió la pura vida aquí en la fiesta Roxy la noche de ayer. So we have Costa Rica right here in this heat. Carlos Muñoz hasn't get a wave yet, but we know that he's waiting patiently. Carlitos Muñoz just coming out of a really coming out of an injury that he hit the bottom over at El Gringo. Unfortunately, he had to come in and wasn't able to keep competing on that event. He broke part of a tooth and opened his face, but luckily now he's back in the game and in a really good form. He went to Jeffreys Bay and did that contest. He opened up with a 9.5 on his first heat. Unfortunately, couldn't back it up and didn't go to that second round, but now he's here and he's doing well. He's already on the semifinal.
Well, that first ride of Leigh Sedley in white from Australia, he scores a 3.93, so that's a pretty good start. You know, it was not as critical as what performance he put on in the last heat in the quarterfinals, and that mystery wave that we're wondering about in the interview we got with your brother Johnny Corso. Leigh Sedley said he got a pit, so that's Australian, where he got a tube ride. That must have been a good barrel, and look forward to him going out and catching another one so we can show it to you. There in the background is a little overview. People starting to show up, beach starting to fill up here, getting around 10 o'clock, and this is the nicest time, I think, for beach activity because it's not quite so hot, and yet it's still warm enough to be totally comfortable. It's only one wave ridden now. We're down to 20 minutes, 45 seconds. Surfers being a little bit more selective, but there's a wave peeling off right there, and I'm here with Angelo Lozano, my buddy from Puerto Escondido, and I'm Gary Linden. I'm from Carlsbad, California, and we're here at the Quiksilver Surf Open Acapulco 2013, the largest prize purse in the history of Mexican surfing, $100,000 in prize money. First place going home with a big check for 20 grand. And here we have Tanner Hendrickson coming out of the water. Let's see if Johnny Corso can grab him down there for a little interview.
So we're here with Tanner Hendrickson, one of our favorite surfers. How you feel out there?
I'm so happy to make it to the final, and it just feels so good.
Nice. What it feels to get to the final?
It was my goal to make it here, and hopefully I can just keep it up and take it all the way.
Nice. You're surfing good. How's your board working?
Yeah, my board is good. It's my same Magic Xanadu. It's working really good, and everything's going good for me now, so I'm happy.
Nice. So how the conditions are right now?
It's like the wind, switch from offshore to kind of glassy. It's a little bit harder, but it's still like you can still find the peaks if you're really selective.
All right. So good luck in the final. Hope you win. And
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, hi Johnny boy. All right, well, doing a great interview right there. Little brother Johnny Corso.
Giving us a little bit different perspective. It's hard to remember. For you, I'm sure you're a little closer to 13 than I am, but it's nice to hang around with the energy and just see it from a kid's eye view. And quite a future he's going to be looking at. Starting out at 6 in the waters of the La Punta down in Puerto Escondido, and so he actually was a competitor here in the first round. So at 13, he's off to a real good start. Johnny Corso, thanks a lot for helping us out. And you keep hanging in there, giving him some mentoring there, Angelo. I'm sure that's going to be a fun time in your life as well.
Yeah, for sure. Nowadays, he and my other brother, Jamel Corso, and Naum Corso, and with the whole other crew of the new Porto boys like Mikey Velasco, Sasha Donano, they have so much energy, and they just all the time hanging out together, pushing each other. They're motivating me, too. They're like, come on, okay, yeah, you're doing this, okay, come on, some air is this, okay, let's go surfing. So it's so much fun to hang out with the Groms. I have a great time. We just feed off each other's energy for sure. It's great.
There's a popular T-shirt in the United States, and it said "Old Guys Rule," and I was given one that said Groms Rule, and I think it's true, the Groms Rule, man. The old guys might have the money, but the Groms got the energy, and I'd much rather have energy over money, man. They're having a lot more fun. I see that little group running around, and I don't have enough energy to hang out with them, but just I get little flashes of it, and it's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, action out in the water, a little slow. We've had only one wave ridden, down to 17 minutes, 10 seconds. And I think the surfers just being a little selective. They know they're only going to take their best 2 waves. So no real rush. But if I were Carlos Munoz, I would be trying to get something going right now.
Well, yeah, Carlos Munoz, 19 years old, I believe. Very experienced surfer already. He's been competing a lot. He's been traveling a lot. He did a really good. He had a good result over in the Volcom Pipeline Pro 5-star event. He went all the way to the quarterfinals. He was awarded with the Todd Chester trophy for his good performance and his underground status, and just being really humble and really nice person. Just telling you a little bit of him as in general as we wait for waves.
There's a picture of some of the other Groms. There's a little Kalani David from Hawaii, the blonde-haired kid there, and he's not very much older. He's probably like 15 too. So kids getting into this sport really, really early nowadays. It's by the time you're 20, you're almost a veteran. So a little bit different. Things are a lot different than when I was growing up. There wasn't even professional surfing. So quite an advancement in 50 years. Stoked.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, you've been through this whole process of surfing changing, and I believe it's been quite a change from your early starts.
I've got to see a lot, not only in competition but surfboard design and then the maneuvers that those new designs allowed surfers to do. So really feel fortunate. I think my 50 years of surfing probably saw the most change in the history of the sport. And it's not over. It changes with the waves. Watching our buddy Gonzalo reading the latest copy of Planeta Surf, Mexico's premier surfing publication. Big shout out to Mario, the publisher, local from Acapulco. Spent some time in Los Cabos, back here in the big city of Mexico DF, so that he could get some more momentum going for his magazine and help build surfing culture in Mexico.
That's right, Gary. Well, you've been an important part of that here in Mexico as well, since you've done so much for surfing here. One of the things you've done supporting Mexican surfers with surfboards for a while already, right, Gary? What can you tell us about that?
Oh, about 20 years of sponsoring some Mexican surfers, Raul Naola, Coco Ramirez. Of course, have a good stint making your boards, Angelo, which I really enjoyed, keeping my designs current and present in these international competitions. But it's just like I've been given so much back. When I go to Mexico, I feel like I'm home, and that has no price. So hopefully someday we'll get the industry going here, and actually have some surf shops where we can, sell some surfboards and keep the lifestyle going.
Yeah, well, you make some amazing boards. I'm really happy to have the fortune to ride them, and not only just you've been helping us with surfboards, but you've been contest director in so many events. I remember about 5 years ago, you as a contest director over the national contest there in Pascuales. Remember that?
Now, that's the worst wipeout of my life, but also one of the most thrilling takeoffs ever. Pasquale is such a heavy wave. I went out by myself, and it was pretty big, and beach break, and just caught this one wave right as it was getting dark and made it to the bottom, thought I had it made, and the lip just came down on my head and just about knocked me out, and I came to and made it to the beach, and there you and Christian were there, and it kind of helped me out of the water, and I just crashed in the sand. But we got it on video, and so I've got that moment frozen for history. But yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I remember. No, that was so heavy. That was like, if not the worst wipeout I've ever seen. It wasn't a wipeout, but the wave just unloaded on top of you, and it didn't come up like for 30 seconds. I was like, where's Gary? And you came up almost on shore already. You got dragged so long and hard, and but man, you took it like a warrior.
Well, that's what we are. We're warriors, Big wave riders are all warriors, and it's part of the fun, like to challenge yourself. There's Joe Estrada, our beach marshal, local boy, longtime Puerto resident, but now living in, I think he's from Acapulco originally. Out in the water, we've got Red on his first wave, Carlos Munoz.
Oh my!
That was some altitude there on that air reverse.
Altitude, full rotation, backside. That was very, very well done. Probably he didn't have to go that big, but Carlos Munoz likes to go big in everything he does.
He doesn't hold back, that's for sure. He scores a 1.60. Meanwhile, White has a 3.93 and then a couple of 0.5s. So White is in first place. Carlos Munoz needing a 3.17 with 10 minutes 23 seconds remaining. Not a lot of action out in the water. There's been waves coming through, but these guys just being real selective. A little bit of cat and mouse out there with the priority situation man on man. But White now with priority, so that means he has his choice of the next waves that come through. Red will have to yield. Yeah, I would like to see a little bit more surfing. I mean, there's plenty of waves, and I just don't get it fully what they're doing out there out in the water. But of course, the first day I went out, I sat out in the water for about two hours and caught 3 waves. So it's easier said than done. I can talk a lot from the beach. Out in the water, it's a whole different situation.
Yeah, it's a really shifty beach break. It's really hard to understand what the waves do and get the the frequency of where the wave really breaks, where the good wave breaks. As we see that, well, they're not catching many waves, even though the waves got a bit bigger. But we still have 9 minutes remaining, and it's anyone's game still.
Yeah, it's wide open, this heat, and nobody's really put a big score up on the board. So a difference, Carlos Munoz with only 1 wave only needs a 3.17, so that's a very low score for Carlos Munoz ability. So hopefully with 8 minutes 40 seconds we can get this heat started. I mean, I'd hate for somebody to go through to the final with a high score of a 3.93. That is a little disappointing and not really indicative of what the surf is doing out there. There are plenty of waves to be ridden, and surfers are just not taking off.
Well, it's patience. Patience comes into play. I believe 8 minutes remaining. They still can get 3 or 4 waves, but well, that's why I was kind of saying maybe Carlos should have gone a little smaller on that area, but well, he didn't get all the way to the semis just by not.
Ooh, that's a big turn there by Leigh Sedley from Australia. Follows it up with 2 more. This is going to be a good score. There's 1 more time, and that wave selection, patience. That's 5 big hacks. That's
very nice wave. Very nice wave.
Didn't miss 1 opportunity to hit the lip, and that's going to be a hard one to match right there. That's going to come in as a big score.
I believe Leigh Sedley, Gary, I'm sorry, he's the only Australian in the event.
I think he was the only Australian originally in the event, and he's all the way looking like going into the finals. And
nice.
Unless Carlos Munoz can pull something off really quick here on this wave, and the wave closes out, he busts the tail out, lands it, but hard to match those 5 big backhand hacks from Leigh Sedley and White from Australia.
Well, big cheers to the Australian people that are watching. Thanks for logging in. And well, we have an Aussie doing really well. The scores are coming down, and we're seeing a very, very good score. I believe it's in the excellent range, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah, that's going to be the wave of the day. It's going to be better than he got a 7.83 in the last heat. Scores coming in so far 8.5, 8.5, 7.5. That's going to round out to be in the 8 range. An 8.17 last ride of White, Leigh Sedley from from Australia. He's going to hold on to a comfortable lead right now. Carlos Munoz needing a 6.71 to move into first place and onto the final. There's only 5 minutes 53 seconds remaining, so Carlos Munoz really has to get going. It's surprising. Usually this guy gets a lot of waves.
Yeah, I think the conditions are pretty hard. At least he's got that first decent score of a 5.4, and well, I believe he's going for those big airs since he's his only 2 waves have been those airs. Unfortunately, he didn't land that first one, which could have been probably in that excellent range as well. But Seedley going for the secure path, just killing that wave on his backhand, throwing several off the tops and throwing buckets of water. And well, solid surfing won't ever get too old.
Rail-to-rail carves are never going to go away. It doesn't matter how many aerials you do, that you can still win. Taylor Knox, a great example, still on the world tour at 41 years of age, and I think he might have only landed about 2 or 3 airs in his life. And he can do it now, but he just doesn't. He just does those rail carves, and it's just very, very impressive. And big, powerful surfers are able to pull those things off. More compact surfers like Carlos Munoz are going to go for the more new school maneuvers. And, you know, for Carlos, it's all about having fun, too. And I think trying something that he hasn't made instead of repeating, rail carve is probably more in his interest criteria.
Well said there, Gary. That was a great wave selection right there. Seedley got. Time's winding down. 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining. Carlos Munoz, pressure on him. He needs a 6.71. 3 minutes. He might just get one last chance right there.
I hope so. I'd like to see him at least get judged on his 2 best waves. He's only caught a couple of waves, but he does have 2 waves, but one of them's just pretty much of a warm-up wave. So I'd like to get him 2 solid scores so we can have a really accurate comparison of the surfing level out there. But Carlos Munoz, I've seen him come through a couple of heats with an interference, so he really only judged on a wave and a half and still win. He can go really big. He can throw a 10 out there. He only needs a 6.71, well within reach for this guy. So hopefully the waves cooperate. With 2 minutes 37 seconds remaining, we're running out of time, and there doesn't look like there's too much on the horizon. Kind of a lull right now.
Well, yeah, what might be going through Carlos Munoz's head, not sure, but as we see him paddling for this wave, he's going to paddle. He might get it, not really. He knows he's only going to have probably one chance with only 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. Costa Rica, it's looking closely and sending the best vibes for Carlos Munoz, the only Costa Rican surfer remaining in the contest.
A lot of Pura Vida coming through the airways out there. Hopefully some of them land on Carlos's head, and he gets a little energy burst and gets a wave that'll allow him to pull on into the final. Let's see, here he goes, red, up and riding, Carlos Munoz.
Unfortunately, well, he tried to do an air reverse. It looked like that lip wasn't perfectly lined for it. Let's see the replay.
Setting up, he didn't have much of a ramp, and then that wave just didn't really cooperate with him. Wasn't much else that he could do. Yeah, White now his priorities. It's going to be a difficult time getting the wave he needs. He's got to kind of paddle away from White, our heat leader, Leigh Sedley from Australia. And we're down to a minute 15 seconds, so there's still enough time for Carlos to get out there and catch something quickly. All things have to come into play here. I mean, the waves have got to come through, and he's got to be in the position, and then he's got to be able to do what he needs to do to get a big score. And he's got a wave. Let's see what he can do. Carlos Munoz racing down, and unfortunate wave closing out on him. So I think it's pretty much over. Looks like we're going to have a Australian-Hawaiian final. So pretty international crowd we got set up here for competitors. A guy all the way from Australia, probably one of the farthest places away from Acapulco that you could be, and Hawaii certainly not close, but these guys came to put on a show, came over to take some of this money being up for grabs, and we're down. Last chance there for Carlos Munoz, kind of an inside wave. He knows, like the rest of it, it's over. Big round of applause there for Carlos Munoz. Put on a great show. Unfortunately, just did not get the waves that allowed him to perform to his level, which is right there up in the top. And on to the final, Leigh Sedley and White from Australia. So we're going to have a little bit of a break here. We're going to wait for Leigh Sedley, maybe from Australia, drawing first blood.
As Carlitos Muñoz from Costa Rica. Pura vida, May. Saludos a toda la gente de Costa Rica. Ayer tuvimos un gran concierto por parte de Debbie Nova de Costa Rica también, así que nos compartió la pura vida aquí en la fiesta Roxy la noche de ayer. So we have Costa Rica right here in this heat have happened these last couple days. We've had a great weather here in La Playa del Princess, and as we see White getting his first wave, really long floater, cutting back, hitting the foam right there, and well, getting a quick start as we see the replay.
Leigh Sedley from Australia, big polymer surfer, floating that section, going forever, following up with a big roundhouse cutback. That's pretty technical surfing there from Leigh Sedley. These guys have both been two of the standout surfers in this competition up to the point. One of them is going to go on to the final, going to meet Tanner Hendrickson, setting us up for a real good display of high-performance surfing here at the Quicksilver Surf Open Acapulco 2012.
That's right, Gary. Well, I'm really happy to be here again once again with you here in the booth. It's an honor to be invited here, and well, it's the last day of the contest. So many activities have gone. Carlos Munoz hasn't get a wave yet, but we know that he's waiting patiently. Carlitos Munoz just coming out of a really coming out of an injury that well, he hit the bottom over at El Gringo. Unfortunately, he had to come in and wasn't
going to ride this wave all the way into the beach, taking it on home.
Congratulations, Tanner Hendrickson. All right, going into the final. So we're going to be watching the next heat, which is where we're going to be watching
Leigh Sedley from Australia and Carlos Munoz from Costa Rica. Leigh Sedley's going to be in white, Carlos Munoz in red, and it's going to be a good one.